Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about Thoreau retainers, which happen to be like my favorite retainers for phase one. Well, one of my favorite retainers for phase one retention. So let's talk a little bit about phase one retention, what the options are. I've done some other videos on that. If you want to go into my playlist, if you go into my YouTube channel, not YouTube in general, but StraightSmile Solutions YouTube channel, you can scroll down on the homepage and there is a playlist just for retention. So what are our options for phase one retention? Remember, phase one is a first set of orthodontics that's done usually 6, 7, 8, 9, just to fix bites, transverse issues, sagittal issues, AP issues, that's pretty much the same thing, grow jaws, expand arches, and often includes straightening the front teeth as well, as needed. Sometimes it's necessary, like there's an impacted canine, or there's trauma, or there's an anterior crossbite. Sometimes it's cosmetic, but anyways, that's phase one, okay? Then we wait a couple years and then we do phase two. Sometimes we do retainers for phase one, sometimes we don't. It depends on what we did, because teeth will always want to go back, right? So let's say, for example, you had an anterior crossbite and you just popped a front tooth forward. You probably don't need retention in that case because it's going to stay forward. But let's say you had some impacted canines and you smushed and consolidated the space from 7 to 10 or upper 2 to 2 together, then you'd probably want to do retention because it's going to spread back open unless those canines have jumped out, okay? So there are 3 types of retention that I like for phase 1 retention. One of them is your regular bonded retainer that just goes behind the lingual teeth on top or on bottom, depending on which ones you need to do. The second one is basically a pre-finisher or a Healthy Start G. That could be a lot more expensive, especially if you're doing Healthy Start G, because they charge a lot for those, unless you are able to buy that a la carte without buying their treatment plans. If so, it's a fantastic phase 1 to phase 2 retainer. It's probably my favorite. Just the pricing is kind of crazy. Third one would be this Theroux, which is another one of my faves. You can order it from ODL. By the way, I am showing the ODL website. Thank you, ODL. I didn't ask permission, but I'm assuming you'll like that I'm talking about it because you're one of the only, as far as I know, a lot of other ortho labs don't advertise Theroux. So ODL is one of the only ones that does. Maybe they all do it. I don't know if they do. But ODL is usually where I send people to get it. So this is a Theroux retainer. Usually the thickness of the Theroux is more than a regular Essex. I don't know if it's 040 or more. Regular Essex is usually 035, 040. So it's probably 040. It's pretty darn thick. And if you have upper and lower together, let's say that's almost a full, that's thick between the two of them together, right? So you just have to make sure anytime that you have phase 1 to phase 2 retention that you're checking the patient every 3 to 6 months in office, just to make sure the retainers are still fitting, see if the patient's ready for phase 2. The issue that can come, and I recently saw one of these, and unfortunately I can't show you the patient's photos because it's not my property, nor did we have a release, but I'm going to explain it to you what happened. Is that, sometimes you deliver a removable retainer and you're like, oh, it's removable, it's fine. Patient moves or something, and then So if the patient keeps wearing the Theroux after these teeth have come in and you got upper and lowers together, right, then these are not going to extrude, but these have a space in between them and they'll keep erupting until they touch something. So what's going to happen is ultimately when you take the Theroux out, upper and lower, you're only going to have contact on these teeth. And then you're going to have a posterior open bite here, and you're going to have an anterior open bite here. So not a huge deal, can be easily fixed in phase 2, but it's also very much preventable if you keep an eye on your retention patients, which is where you kind of need to have a system for your retention patients, even if they're no longer in treatment with you and they're wearing removables. Unless the retainer covers all the teeth, like in phase 2, and the same thing can happen, honestly, if you did an A6 and you didn't include the 7s. Same thing can happen, right? So make sure you keep an eye on your Theroux patient. You almost want to keep a list of them just to keep an eye on them. And if they ghost you and they vanish, you want to remind them they need to come in. And to be honest, you probably actually want to send them a letter discontinuing them if you can't reach them, because funky things can happen and you don't want to be liable. So anyways, just a little tip, just because I saw something that I I knew it could potentially happen, but I didn't know it could get that severe. So, all right, thanks so much.